we're going to get straight into the first topic. And unless you've been living under a rock in the UK, or for our non-UK listeners and viewers out there, the last couple of weeks have been very important for the UK scene because we saw the return of the one and only J Hus, who has been very much quiet since his last album, Big Conspiracy, in 2020. And he released his first solo single in 3 years, basically, this past couple weeks, called It's Crazy. And it shook the scene. You know, it split opinion for reasons that we'll probably get into later. But yeah, it was a big, big moment for the scene. And as the dust settled, people started talking about how it's been performing, just in terms of like chart position and in terms of like numbers, because I think it dropped on a Wednesday. And I saw a tweet from a Twitter page called Represent London. And it basically said that, let me get it up, J Hus's new track, It's Crazy, failed to do 1 million views in a day. Do you think Hus should have kicked things off with an Afro swing type track, etc.? Now, J Hus, if you don't know, he's known for being kind of a pioneer for Afro swing, UK Afro beats, Afro bashment as well. And this song, It's Crazy, is very much a drill song. And
drill?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's kind of more like, not commercial drill, but it's not as drilly as like drill sort of thing. But it's got the drill vibe to it. So, yeah, I just wanted to open up a conversation about expectations for certain artists. Because I suppose for someone who like J Hus, who's like very much an acclaimed guy, he's one of the big three that we've got in the UK along with Dave and Stormzy, like his return is and will be a big deal. But I guess for some quarters of the scene, unless you're hitting a certain number right at the gate, it doesn't really matter what you're doing. So I guess I just wanted to open up a conversation about fan expectations and whether fans are expecting too much from artists and whether artists are suffering under the pressure of that expectation. Because I saw this tweet and I just thought to myself, like, within a day he did nearly 1 million. He did like nearly 900,000. So it's like, it's not, I mean, for anybody, that's great numbers, especially within 24 hours. But I suppose because we have this idea of what he should be doing, or at least some of us have this idea of what he should be doing, and when he doesn't reach that, it's like, oh, he didn't do it sort of thing. So, yeah, I just kind of want to open up a conversation, really.
I mean, for you two, because you two are like massive J Hus fans, like, do you feel like the song itself reached your expectations, and then the reaction to it?
To me, just to contextualize this, Hus musically is the greatest ever to me in the UK.
Ever.
He's top 5 to me already. Like, just musically.
You see how he walks that back so quickly.
Yeah, he does that. He does that.
No, but like, because I don't want to speak out to him about really thinking on it and just commit to saying he's the GOAT. But like, to me, I'm just talking about music, just not bars, not just rap, just everything encompassed. He's definitely top 5 to me. Top 3, arguably. I can't lie. I can put in my head up a lot of people, just musicality. So when this song came out, I wouldn't say I was disappointed. It was just, there's certain things that's just always going to throw me for a loop. And starting the song off saying 666 and the devil.
He didn't do 666.
Whether people want to hear it or not, I'm sorry, it's going to throw me for it. Why is it? It's fair. I'm the same guy that never used to sing My Man's verse in 21 seconds. I'm the same guy. When I worship the red is my best colour. I'm the same guy that I don't say that.
That is much more explicit than what J Hus did, though.
What was his first opening bar for the song?
He said the devil in me, demon in me, right?
And he said 666.
Cool, but
did he say 666?
He didn't say 666.
I don't know if he said 666.
I'm sure I heard the numbers.
He said had 6, but I let go of 3.
Oh yeah, that's what he said.
That's
That's a crazy bar.
Yeah,
that's
man.
actually
Come on, man.
Okay, cool. The devil in me. It's enough.
What do you mean, bro?
Like, it's...
Stop acting like so scared, bro. The when he's referring to the devil, he's just referring to like the badness which we all have, the darkness which we all have. He's just using the word
devil in me, demon in me. And I completely agree with Peter.
Okay, maybe I'm tripping because I don't know why I thought.
No, but you're not the only person that reacted that way.
A lot of fans have reacted this way. And for extra context, I'm going to read out another tweet which kind of speaks about the kind of sales performance of the song by Opinionated UK. So the comeback single It's Crazy by J Hus ends the week at number 15 with 18,834 sales. It began the week at number 6 but drastically fell after the song was boycotted for what seemed to be satanic references / worshipping. Not the best way to return, but at least it's a return. So that is suggesting that a lot of people are not happy with that, which to me is very, very interesting considering the nature of his music.
I was going to say
when he talks about juju, when he talks about bunsams, which if you don't know are guns, when he talks about murder, when he talks about all this stuff, it's basically okay. But when he talks about the devil in me, the demon in me, which we all knew what that meant.
Yeah, that's a fact.
It's a problem.
I agree.
Sort of thing. So, and clearly, if that's the case, and it's affecting like the sales performance of this, then it goes to show that a lot of people are not happy with what. With
But
it.
outside of that bit, do people like the song?
I was going to say
What's the social media?
I think it's
reaction?
mixed. I think it's very mixed. I think from what I've seen anyway, it's been very, very mixed. But I feel like, to Mo's point, a lot of people are finding it hard to negotiate those bars.
But to
and
me,
it's turning them off the song. So even if they like it, they can't get jiggy with it because.
But to me, it's
those
bigger
bars.
than. To me, it's bigger than the bars. The first time I heard it, I was like, whoa. But like, is it not fair to say it's a meaty song? Like, don't mean you're going up against Hus.
Yeah, but do you feel that?
I think the song's meaty.
Okay,
Like,
now we're getting.
I think the song's a meaty. Like, it's not a song that's. I don't think I've gone back to it. Being completely honest with you, like I haven't. Like, it's not. I just don't think it's a good song, and I think it's more that than anything else. And I don't think people just want to accept Hus has come back with a bad song because of who Hus is.
Right.
Do you get what I'm saying? Because of Hus, it's no matter what he drops, we need to elevate it to something on another plateau. And I get it. When you've given us Common Sense and you've given us Big Conspiracy, you've laid the blueprint for like, you have not failed yet. We haven't seen Hus fail yet. So it's the first time he stumbles, everyone's going like,
in your opinion?
In my opinion, the first time he stumbles, the backlash is, maybe he needs to. I don't think it was the bar. I just think all around it wasn't a great Hus song, in my opinion.
So what was your expectation in order for you to say that though?
Because we didn't know it was coming out, I generally didn't have no expectations.
I told you
for
it was
this.
coming.
No, as in,
His sources.
No, shake my hand. Honestly,
Peter's industry guys.
We need to give that.
Relax.
We need to talk about that because Peter gave us an exclusive and people didn't want to hear it. But he said he heard Hus is
And
dropping
I'm the
soon.
industry one. Okay.
And the industry, this guy here, his connections are
He's in the J Hus camp.
Relax.
So he is 2K management.
So
He
can I
is
just
2K
say,
management. Him and Mimi. Shout out Mimi.
Can you tell your connect? Don't get offended by this because clearly you have someone next to Hus. But yeah, like I didn't have no expectations. I generally didn't know what to expect because it's Hus. Like Hus can do what he's got so many. It's like you said, he does bashment sometimes, he does Afro sometimes, he does. Do you know what I mean? He picks so many different pockets. To me, Hus is the most varied musician we have in the UK.
Right.
He could do stuff Dave can't. He could do stuff Stormzy can't. But he could do what Dave can. He could do what Stormzy can. Do you get what I mean? But they can't do Hus. So I think when he came back with it, I listened to it. I like it, but would I say I'm gonna go back to it? No.
But what did you expect?
I expected, I'll be honest, in terms of it as a song, or what did I expect from Hus?
Yeah, song.
I expected to come back. I said, when I saw Hus come back, I said it's gonna be the best song in the last 3 years.
Wow.
Like, not like
Look at it. That's
no,
and
no,
that's
see,
what.
see,
That's
no,
why
no, no,
this
can I just say, but guys, I was exaggerating. Please don't stick it. I'm exaggerating.
Go on.
When I heard the songs coming out,
Right.
no, don't get me wrong, I expected a fucking banger. But that's your fault as a musician.
What do you mean?
You've given me the if someone has scored 30 goals 3 seasons in a row, can I not go into that full season and say you're getting 25?
Bro, your expectations is none of Hus's business.
No, but
as an artist, and I'm not an artist, man, but as an artist, bro, all he does is make the art.
What's your expectation?
Wait, hold on. How you react to that is your business. That's not his, bro.
Yeah,
he
but
has no control over how you receive his music.
Yeah, but
if you then build him up to a place to where he probably may not even subscribe to you, but he's just doing his art. Why is that his problem?
No, not his. When I say his problem is I've put you on that pedestal. So maybe it's on me, but at the same time, you're fair as a fan to have expectations if you feel like a musician has not failed you yet. King's Disease,
fine,
if I say,
cool.
if King's Disease 4 is, if Nas drops King's Disease 4 and it's an absolute shit.
But the tricky thing
do
with
I
that,
not,
yeah, but,
can we not go, yo, it's not the last three.
But Mo, the tricky thing with that is, yeah, when we have expectations as fans, yeah, we place the responsibility on the artist. We all do that, bro. And that's where it's not fair. And that's what I'm saying. I think that's where it's a bit tricky with like the unrealistic expectations that as consumers we have for these artists, man. Because it means that that means that you might actually be describing a song that's actually pretty good as meaty because it doesn't meet your expectation.
No, but
we put them on a pedestal where they are not allowed to fail. And I've spent the last
But he's
couple
still
weeks.
on that
I've
pedestal.
spent the last couple weeks arguing with people about that. People who have basically been criticizing his work rate because he hasn't been releasing songs or albums like yearly or whatever. And it's just like, bro, these are your expectations. They're not his. He moves at his own time. He moves at his own pace. And when it comes to the actual song itself, obviously it's a matter of taste. If you don't like it, fair enough. But to have such high expectations of a guy, granted, he's giving you amazing stuff. But again, it feeds into the idea that because he continues to give you great stuff, everything he drops must be great.
No, but like...
Therefore, he's not allowed to fail.
No, he's allowed to... But my point is exactly that. He's allowed to fail, but he's still there for me. I expect Hus's next song to be a banger. Every song Hus drops, I'm going to expect to be a good song.
Can you not hope for it rather than expect it?
No, because
for me, expectation is demand.
No, because I expect Kendrick Lamar's album to bang the next one he drops. I expect that. Because why? You've given me
you don't think that's a lot?
It's a very privileged position for fans to expect.
No, it's privileged
stuff.
as fuck. But like, if you've given me dope shit, I can go and be like, yeah, I hope, don't get me wrong, because no one knows the future. But at the same time, no, like you're one of them ones.
Do you listen to singles before the album drops?
Yeah, depends.
Okay.
I wouldn't say I'm pressed, but like me, I think expectation. If you're an artist and you don't have expectations on you, you haven't done your job. You haven't done your job as an artist.
Nah.
When I say expectations, by the way, when I say expectations, I'm not talking about people that criticize Hus for not dropping enough songs. I'm just talking about when I say expectation, the quality of what you're gonna drop. If people expect your quality to be at an elite level, it's because you're an elite artist.
Okay.
So therefore, whether it's unfortunate, but that means you're a great artist. If you would rather have expectations as an artist than not have expectations.
Cool,
right?
Cool. But then when they don't reach those expectations, you get commentary like, is he like all the tweets I've mentioned?
Yeah, but they're idiots.
Ooh, okay.
As in, no lie about, but like,
it's very clickbaity what they've done.
It's clickbaity.
Right?
We're just saying,
but at the same time, this is also how people are feeling.
Yeah, but we're hip hop heads. You've got expectations on our artist. If your rapper don't hit your expectations, it's not dropping you where you still look at him as wherever. Do you get what I'm saying? Before or after, you still rank him where you rank him, right? You don't. Do you look at Hus any differently because of this song? No, I don't, and I don't like it. But I still expect when Hus drops an album, I expect that album to be the best album of the year in the UK.
That's a lot, man. Bro, do you not see how much that is? Do you not see how heavy that is?
I give the same expectation. When Kendrick dropped, when I had that 2 years before that, when we done the predictions, I said Kendrick's going to drop the album of the year. He dropped it 2 years later. To me, it was the album of the year.
Debatable.
To me, I'm saying to me, it was to me, it was the album of the year. So like, there's certain musicians I feel like when Kanye was on that first 5 album run, you're telling me we couldn't say at come graduation, yo, it's gonna be amazing.
Yeah, but cool. Even if that's the case, and even if your opinion of someone doesn't change in the immediate aftermath of them doing something that isn't to your standard, if they then continue to do stuff that isn't what you expect, then your mood, your thoughts are going to start changing, right? If Kendrick now drops 5 bad albums, your opinion of him will probably change, right?
Definitely.
There you go. So it's a slippery slope when you have expectations of someone from the jump, because if they're not meeting exact specific expectations, then it becomes a problem. And then you get commentary around J Hus like, what's happening?
But we give expectations to every facet of everyone we watch. We give expectations to sports.
Yeah, that don't make it right though.
Yeah, I'm just saying, but we do it. You've got expectations on your footballers. You've got expectations on your musicians.
I don't really expect from people anymore.
Fernando Torres in his prime, you didn't expect him to bang this a season.
I hoped he would.
Steven Gerrard in his prime,
I've never really, especially when it comes to music, I don't really expect from anybody anymore because everybody moves at their own schedule and everybody moves.
I'm not talking about expectations on release dates.
No, but I'm saying.
I'm talking about expectation on the music.
Yeah.
Cool. But again, artistically, everybody moves to the beat of their own drum, right?
True.
What you might think isn't the most musical might be very, very musical to them. J Hus, this single, clearly it was very much to me anyway, I interpret it as a kind of aggro, raggo, cruddy type song that he's kind of getting out of his system, and then when you get some of the more stuff that we're familiar with him on the album sort of thing. People didn't like it. People are making excuses for it with the references and stuff, but that is what it is. Everybody's sensibilities are different. But like I said, it's a slippery slope when you start to expect stuff of a high quality every time from artists.
I don't think it is, man. I think if an artist...
it is. Of course it is.
I think if an artist gives me a certain level from the minute they've come into the scene, I can go into that. The next time you drop, I can go into it and go, yo, I expect a good album.
What we're arguing is not that you can't.
What'd you say?
we're not arguing that you can't have that. We're arguing, should you?
And I think you should. And I think the
You
artist...
think you should have expectations?
I think you should, and I think the artist should be, and it's going to sound crazy, the artist should be happy that there's an expectation on them. If I'm an artist, I'll rather have an expectation on me than not. Because if I don't have an expectation, people don't care.
Nah, that's not true.
Nah, you're bugging.
That's not
me.
true at all, because
Do you have an
Frank
expectation?
Ocean.
Do you have an expectation on Chingy's next album?
Chingy?
Yeah.
Why do you always go for the most extreme example?
Yes or no?
It does that, innit?
No, do you have an expectation?
Why are you using Chingy?
Okay, you're right, let me take it back. Do you have an expectation on Machine Gun Kelly's next album?
I mean, it's the same shit as Chingy.
No, pick an artist that he actually likes.
Do you have an expectation? It fits my agenda. Do you have an expectation?
Nas is next album.
King Disease 4, do you have an expectation?
No.
0.
No.
Do you
I don't have any expectations for Nas,
Dave's next
Kendrick,
album.
Jay, Dave. I don't have expectations for them. I don't look at them and think it needs to be this, it needs to have this,
Yeah,
it needs to.
man. I'm not saying
no,
days are gone, bro. Them days are gone, man.
But I'm not giving a list of what I expect. It's just one thing I expect.
What, for it
to be
a
good?
fucking album.
Huh?
to be
Yes.
dope. To be
Bro,
dope.
that's
Yes.
that's a lot to ask.
So
man.
what's dope?
not a
What's
lot
dope
to
to you? Out of
ask,
10.
bro.
Out of
If
10.
you're
What's
my
dope?
Because a lot goes into your expectation,
No,
bro.
but you're my favorite artist.
No, but a lot goes into your expectation, bro. Your expectation is coming from a place of what they've already given you. innit?
Yes.
So you're gonna judge the music based on that.
No.
So if they don't give you close to what they've already given you, then you may not feel like it's good.
No, because you could give me the reason why I know, because for example, Off Season with J. Cole.
Right.
That's nothing like anything he's given me.
Okay.
I like the shit out of it.
Okay, but
So
that's an
therefore-
example of you liking it. I'm talking about an example of you not liking it.
Plus, you also had expectations for that.
What,
Of course
Off
you
Season?
did. Yeah,
I
of course
definitely
you
had
did.
expectations for Off Season.
Yeah.
But I also had expectations for KOD. KOD being absolute trash. And I know we're getting off topic from Hus. But I had expectations for KOD. KOD was absolutely trash in my opinion. But I don't look at Cole any differently.
Listen, I just
But
feel
you might if off season was trash.
I personally wouldn't. Personally. Just if
But that's
Hus,
something- but if let's just assume that you would. If KOD was trash to you and then off season was trash to you,
And For Your Eyes Only was trash.
And For Your Eyes Only was trash. That's 3 trash albums, right? Your opinion of J. Cole is going to change because of the expectations you put on him, and that's what I mean when I talk about a slippery slope. Because if they're not meeting your expectations every time, then your opinion of them is going to change, and that's going to be a thing.
I think when you're elite, you're
J. Cole's
always...
not elite, but
What do you say?
J. Cole's not elite.
J. Cole's
artist,
elite.
country.
J. Cole's elite.
He's not an elite artist.
J. Cole's an elite artist.
No, he's not.
Okay. When you're an elite when you're an elite artist, I think it's expected. And I think it's fair. I generally do, because you've given me a precedent to follow. I'm not saying I want a blueprint of, I don't want common sense. I don't want big conspiracy. I want J Hus.
I think you're conflating, you know. I think you're conflating, and I'm trying to figure out the best way to articulate why I think you're conflating, because like I feel like you're, with your expectations of an artist dropping an amazing album based on the fact that they've been amazing, it's not that you can't hope for them to continue to drop amazing music, but it's the weight of you expecting. Because again, for me, an expectation is like a demand, isn't it? So there's a lot of weight in that, because if they don't meet that because of how you've built them up, all of a sudden they're not good. I think that's so like reductive to artistry, bro.
Case in point.
But then what's the
Case in
first thing I
point.
said though? It doesn't take away
Case in
from your
point.
art. It doesn't take, I don't think you're whack
No,
if you drop one bad album.
no, but you say that, bro. But if an artist gives you back to back albums of not meeting your expectation, yeah, your view of them, if they haven't got enough credit in the bank, yeah, your view of them will change.
But that's music.
No,
Case
I'm
in
talking
point.
about you.
But
Case
that's
in point.
us.
No, I'm talking about you.
That's all. We had a conversation with Oshie. How many albums does it take
Bro,
for you
stop
to check?
reflecting. I'm talking about you.
No, but that's everyone.
Case
Is
in
everyone
point.
Mohammed?
But case in point. But case in point.
What's wrong with this brother?
But case in point. Look at all the commentary around Kendrick last year. How no one really liked the album, and it's a dent on his legacy. I saw so much commentary on Twitter about that. It's not good. You know, Kendrick had a bad one. His legacy is looking shaky. Da 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 da. That is what I'm talking about when it comes to the slippery slope. When you have such lofty heights for someone, and it could be a thing where you don't like the album. That's fine. You don't have to like the album. But for you to then fix your lips and say, oh, they're not as good anymore, or their legacy's this, or their legacy's that. That's the issue. And I feel like with J Hus, I was starting to see that with J Hus.
I started to see it from the minute was getting in. But there's been a Hus dialogue before Hus even dropped the album. I feel like people are just, for some reason now, just in a weird space with J Hus. I don't personally understand it. Like, J Hus
It's weird.
It's weird to me. Like,
I think, sorry to cut
no,
you, I
you're
think something that I didn't say as well is that, like, I think when an artist gives us a lot of time, as far as not releasing music, that's where things can get a bit techie in it, because you have way more time to then build them up even more so because you think they're working on something crazy, which is why they haven't dropped. And then I guess that's where the expectation comes in. I still don't think it's fair though on the artists, man. Like it's so much projection from us, bro. They don't really ask for it. They're just doing their own thing. They're just living their life, doing their own thing and that. And then we're here sitting here constructing things in our mind of them dropping like the most amazing project. And when they drop a single that's probably not what we think it should be, all of a sudden they're
but that's not true.
great.
People criticize Hus's work rate, knowing what he's been through. Been to jail, been stabbed, all that stuff. And they're still criticizing his work rate because he's taken 2 years or 3 years off.
I like me personally, if I was an artist, I love the way Hus. I love when my rappers drop an album and disappear for 3 years. I love that. So I've got no issues with, but how can I put it? The rappers expect expectations on themselves. If you're telling people you're the greatest ever in some of your bars, aren't you setting that precedent for you? Aren't you setting expectation already? If you're telling people I am better than everyone that's ever come out.
Not really. No, not really, because they don't have any responsibility on how you choose to receive that. If I tell you that I'm the greatest to ever do it, bro, I don't really care how you receive that. If you then think because I'm the greatest, that means I'm dropping an album every year to prove that. That's your business. That's not my business, fam.
I agree.
You feel me?
Because when I hear that, if Lil Wayne's telling me he's the best rapper alive, that doesn't mean I'm not computing that as like, okay, he needs to drop more to prove that. You know what I mean? It's more about the quality.
That's what I'm saying. To me, I don't ever care about how often you drop an album. I don't care. Like you could drop it once. I like when my rappers drop once every 4 years. I don't want to oversaturate the market. But I'm saying, great word. I'm saying, but if you're saying I'm the greatest ever, I'm this, I'm that, bro, you set. And it depends on the rappers. When Lil Wayne said, if a dead rapper says I don't care, but if I view you, just me personally, as an elite artist, I expect elite albums. And if you don't hit, you don't hit. Not everyone hits 100%. That's fine. You're still an elite. If Hus misses with this album, say he drops an absolute clanger, Hus is still in my top 5 musicians, dead or alive in the UK, ever. He might be the GOAT, and I'm not exaggerating when I'm talking about everything. Skepta can't make music like Hus, respectfully. Wretch can't make music like Hus, in my opinion. Kano can't make music like Hus. I'm telling you, exactly everything. Like Hus he could drop a clanger, but I'm going to the next album. Yeah, I expect you to come back with a great album. I don't think that's stretched. I don't think that's far-fetched for me to say, yo, you're J Hus. I expect a great album. How is that unfair?
I just think it's a lot of pressure on the artist, man.
Yeah.
I just think it's a lot of pressure on the artist, that's all.
There should be. Actually, no, they shouldn't. That's unfair.
Do you feel me? They're just making
that. And ultimately, you might perceive an album as a failure or an artist as a failure because they haven't reached your expectations.
And
what do you mean?
Okay, so if J Hus drops his album tomorrow,
yeah,
and it's not what you deem it to be, and I'm not necessarily using you specifically, some people will probably say the album failed, whether it was on a musical standpoint, commercial standpoint. There will be some sign, if they don't like it, that this album was a failure, didn't work out, sort of thing. It's the commentary. Has he really failed?
No.
But people make it out and make it something bigger than what it is. Just because they don't like something. Just because of their subjective taste.
And that's fine, man. We're in the business of everyone's got an opinion in it. Everyone's got views on albums and that. And you can criticize as much as you want, man. And it's going to come from whatever place it's going to come from within you, innit? And that's cool, man. But damn. Yeah, I don't know, man. I just feel like artists, if they've given us like, you know, some great times, they deserve grace, man. That's all, man. I just
literally
just give them room to breathe, innit? It doesn't mean we can't judge accordingly. You know what I mean? But I don't know, man. We already put a lot on them as far as just how we react to their art and that, man. But then the expectation angle as well, man, on top of everything else, I just think it's a lot, bro.
Yeah, ultimately, I don't want a conversation about any artist when they drop an album that you don't like to be, are they on the decline? Are they failing?
And sometimes that could be true. Sometimes they may be on the decline. That actually may be the case.
But I think it's too early, though.
Yeah, it's probably too early around J Hus specifically, but I guess what I'm trying to say is that like sometimes it's for fair. A wider conversation, you can have that conversation, but not maybe so soon after a single. He hasn't even dropped the next album yet.
But Twitter discourse is always going to be wild in terms of when it comes to music. Like they're always going to talk shit, for lack of a better word.
Yeah.
True. But don't make it right, man.
Amen.
Don't make it right.
Amen.
So I'm the only one out of us three that expects from my eyes.
I've lived my life expecting that, like certain quality of music from artists, but I think nowadays, bro, I try not to, man. I try not to expect a thing. Bro.
Can I ask you a question?
Talk to me.
Cleo Soul says, I'm dropping an album in 6 months' time.
Yeah.
You tell me you don't expect a good album.
I'll be excited for it. I'm not expecting a
Pete,
good album.
come on, man.
No, I'll be hoping for a good album. There's a difference.
Right.
I'll be hoping. I always hope for my artists to drop good albums, but
cool.
like, because I don't really listen to singles beforehand. Like, I can't. There's not much to expect from. And my brain's just gonna do what it does as far as like imagining and fantasizing about what it's gonna be. But there's not like an expectation of it's gonna be amazing. I'm just like I hope it's dope. I just hope for the best for my artists that I love. So
I hear you. I've always lived.
no, you're not the only one. I have too, bro.
I can't
This is a new thing for me. This is like the last few years where I'm like, when I stopped listening to singles, I just stopped this expectation because singles can shape how you anticipate things, innit?
That's a
you know
fact.
what I mean? So,
But it's also,
and especially if the single's banging. If the single's banging, oh man, expectations go through the roof.
oh yeah, that's a fact.
You feel me?
That's a fact.
So-
but when I say expectations, was also limited to a few people.
You reckon?
Yeah, man, I don't expect certain things from. In the UK, I think the only one I expect something from is Hus. I didn't expect anything from Stormzy's album, respectfully. I don't expect anything from Dave's album, even though I think, I don't expect, no, tell a lie, I expect something from Dave's album. Dave and Hus are maybe the only ones in the UK that I expect, like, there's an expectation, there's a benchmark. And the benchmark isn't so much your old albums, the benchmark is just good. And I expect you, it's unfair for me not to expect anything else. If you haven't failed yet, surely it's like,
Again,
I get what you're saying.
expectations are fine. But if expectations mold how you speak on the album and your commentary on it in a kind of negative way,
I agree.
that's when it becomes an issue.
I agree.
So it's very much a fine line you got to tread. It's very fine to have expectations, but what do you do when they're not met?
You move on.
Well, you might, but a lot of people don't. Hence, the commentary around it's crazy.
It's unfair to artists.
Luckily, Hus clearly isn't the type of person that really cares.
You don't.
You know what I mean? Like, he was doing push-ups on Instagram the other day. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he wasn't doing correct push-ups, but he was doing push-ups. So,
I still
the
expect.
problem?
I still expect.
bro, I'll show you the video. It was mad.
I still expect a good album from Hus for what it's worth. A very good album.
I'm very excited.
Yeah.
Because we really don't know what we can expect.
Yeah.
We don't know.
Yeah.
A lot of Ismail, and don't say militancy type chat
I love that shit.
and all that stuff. Revolutionaries, all that
Don't
stuff.
say militants.
And I'm sure there'll be some bangers as well.
Yeah, facts.
I mean-
but like, come on, man. What would you rather me say to you guys? I expect Birdman to drop a 10 out of 10 album.
Nah.
See?
I mean, that doesn't... Okay, fine.
But you listen to Lil Durk, so you could say that.
Did you have expectations for Lil Durk?
No.
Interesting.
And that's the thing that surprised me the most. Like, that's a perfect example. There's no expectations with the Durks of the world. There's no expectation with other people. I've only expect really from maybe 5 or 6 rappers. Like, I expect Cole, I expect Kendrick. I don't expect nothing from Drake. Zero, zilch, nada. So it's got nothing to do with who you are, where you're at. It's just musically, if I look at you and I go, you have not failed me yet, I can look at it and go, okay, now I see what you're saying with expect and hope.
It's normal.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah, it's normal.
Because I was about to say
think-
I expect, but at the same time, it's also the hope of like, you haven't failed me yet, don't fail me now.
Yeah, man.
But like, the reason why I say expect is because when Drake drops, I've gone to the point now where if it wasn't for this pod, I don't think I would go with. If Drake drops an album, I've gone past the point of running to the album now. Does that make sense? So there's no expectation with him. The minute I stop checking your release date, expectation is gone because I'm not going to it. Whereas with Coles, the Kendricks, the Husses, if I'm going to listen to your album the day it drops, it's because there's a level of expectation there. And a
Fam.
level of caring.
The majority of, in fact, I think all the greats have given us songs that some of us will deem below par, man. So from that alone, and albums. So from that alone, man, I've lost expectation time.
But it don't take away from the greatness. You're allowed to miss.
Yeah, of course not. But I'm just saying though, that helps me with not expecting shit, man.
I hear you.
Well, I guess your opinion and your reading of the situation, I guess, is more mature than others who would completely write off someone off one single.
Jay-Z gave us Kingdom Come. Who am I to write someone off, bro?
Kingdom
Respect,
Come
like,
had lost ones though.
don't give me lost. Shout out to Chris myself. But like,
That's a great segue into the fun topic, but we'll get to that.
do you know what I mean? Though, innit? Like, I'm never right. I would have wrote Cole after For Your Eyes Only if I really thought like that.
You definitely could have.
And I could have wrote him off after KOD. And I hate KOD. I could have really, and I don't, you know what I'm saying? I'm not writing you off after one bad album. I'm just saying, when you drop one bad album, I expect the next one to be good. If you drop another bad album, probably the third one I expected, depending on if I rate you as an artist, I'm always gonna check you and I'm always gonna listen to you. The only reason I don't go back to Drake is I've never thought Drake makes good albums. That's the difference.
Fair enough.
Okay, cool.
Well, shout out to Hus. Shout out to everybody who loved It's Crazy. Shout out to everybody who didn't love It's Crazy. And yeah,
It's still the GOAT.
Mo said that. But you know,
No, of course not.
listen, if the next album is what it is, then
You're co-signing me. You're co-signing me.
I'm getting
Ellie.
closer to it. I'll
You're
get
co-signing me,
closer
Ellie.
to it. I'll get closer to it.
You gotta
So
co-sign me.
what are you trying to say? If the next album is what, fire?
If the next album is of the same
Ilk.
quality and the same ilk as the last two, then yeah, he's on that upper echelon of like great
Yes.
UK.
Yeah, see, I'm happy you said that.
Artists.
That's cool. I can accept that because I was about to get at you, bro.
Why?
Because I thought you were gonna say, "Oh, he's the goat."
No.
Yeah, okay,
Alright,
cool.
cool.
See, I like that. I can accept that. I'm happy with that.
Alright, cool.
Yeah.
Top
I,
five?
I don't know if he can be the GOAT, to be honest with you. You'd have to be. Let's see what happens when all said and done.
Why? Because he needs to battle Wiley on a fucking staircase.
I mean, I was thinking more Skepta, but okay.
What's your problem?
All right.
I'll get it to you.
We'll move on then.
Sorry, that was rubbish.
Aggressive.
No,
much.
so let's.
Aggressive much.